Hi team, Uwe Jacobs, Property Friends Strategists. Now, we are going to continue in our little discussion on the NDIS, National Disability Insurance Scheme, more specifically the SDA, Specialist Disability Accommodation. Curse or cure, that's today's subject. Now, I've spoken about the what is the NDIS, what are the benefits, and how does it work. So let's have a look at what was the intent behind it. Is it a curse or a cure? All right. There's been much debate about the NDIS, specifically about the Specialist Disability Accommodation part of it. It is one of the most misunderstood subjects in my view. Why is that? Why has the government done this? Ostensibly to take people out of what is substandard accommodation. People are still in, let's say 20-year-olds are in retirement homes and should not be there. So ostensibly to give people the chance and the choice to live in good quality, purpose-built accommodation. Now, the big difference that came into effect with the NDIS is that for the first time, the participant, the disabled person, has the power of choice. They are no longer tied to the SIL provider, the supported independent living provider. They have the free choice of where they live. They in turn get a grant or subsidy by the NDIS according to certain approvals and can direct that to the SDA provider. Now, let's be clear about this. Gets a bit complex, but we can work through that. Let's be clear about this. Only an SDA approved provider can make available these homes and these rooms. So forgive me, but these galas that are sprouting 15 to 20% return don't tell you that you need to have an SDA provider. So take that into consideration. Property Friends is in the final throes of becoming an SDA provider. Didn't want to do that, but it is better for us to do it than to force every investor to do it. The compliance cost is horrendous. Anyway, going back to my subject. So ultimately it gets the people out of substandard accommodation and into purpose-built accommodation. So that will also ultimately save the government money. It is good for the investors because of the very high rental income that brings. I say 10 to 15%, 8 to 15%. It depends very much on the configuration of the house, and everything stands and falls with getting the rooms rented. Now, there is no point, in my view, in jam-packing a house with theoretical people that get theoretical subsidies and then finding out that it doesn't work. I think it is better to have a cohesive group of people working together, and with a 3-bedroom plus carers house, maybe even accepting only 2 that are subsidized and have the third one be part of a cohesive living group, which will in turn decrease your turnover and hence increase your returns. So that's one of the tricks in the game. And that is why the relationship and the strategic alliance partners are so important. Anyway, getting back to where I was. So it puts a competitiveness into the market by having many providers, also smaller providers. So it's good for the government in summary, it's good for the participants, it's good for the investor. So as far as I'm concerned, it's a good cure, if done correctly. So, I will continue with my briefing sessions. The next subject is advantages, disadvantages, and going also into a bit of due diligence, what to look out for. You will find the other videos on our YouTube channel, Property Friends. And we are actually holding a briefing discussion with a Q&A on Friday the 10th of the July, 10th of the 7th, 20. At 5 p.m. online. Leave me a message if you are interested to participate. We'll cap the number, so register fairly quickly, and we'll go from there. I trust you enjoy that. If you've got any questions, feel free to leave comments, ask questions, and make it a great day. Uwe Jacobs, Property Friends, Property Strategist. Have a good one.